Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get started. Looks like I'm all set up on the YouTube. So welcome to Tutorial Tuesday, everybody watching on YouTube and Facebook on both my profile page and my business page. Be Marquita here, founder of Designing Made Easy, where I teach event planners, crafters, any other creative how to create custom backdrops and flip them into other products to make more money on. So we're gonna get started. Let me share my screen for one while I'm just talking. Share my screen. So I had a couple entries. I sent out an email either yesterday or the day before. All my days are running together. So I had people submit their design requests to see which one I'm gonna choose. So I'm just gonna start with the first one. You can see I had a couple paid orders too that I gotta get in here. But let's go ahead and check this out. Let me pause my screen just in case it shows addresses. I don't want that to happen. All right, there we go. Now we're good to go. All right, so the first one, it was a bear thing for a boy, blue, brown, white. Okay, that's very vague. Is it a birthday, baby shower, gender reveal? Like, yeah, I'm gonna not do that one because they didn't give me anything. So when it's time to submit, when I ask for the request, especially if you want a free design, give me all the details. Give me all the deets so I can know where to go. But that one, there's really not a lot of directions. So I am actually going to get rid of this order. So sorry if that was you. Go back. Orders. Oh, I was already there. So the next one was Ebony Spell. Let's see. 6x8 in memory of full of silver memorial. Then we got some images. Okay, so let's go with this one. And if I have time to get to the other one that was up there, and Felicia, I actually think that was you. I'll look through yours and see if we still have time, but we'll see how far we get to that. So let me click on these links. So I do have apps on my Shopify store where people can upload pictures. So that's why you see these links. It's usually not there by default. I don't know if they've changed that since way back when I started my Shopify store or not, but I do have an app so people can upload their images when they're placing their order. So let's go ahead and grab those. And I'm gonna show y'all my raw design steps. So I'm a GIMP girly by heart. So the majority of my design will be in GIMP, but I am going to incorporate Canva. So again, she wanted a 6x8. So I'm gonna go to GIMP. Where's my taskbar down here? What happened? Where'd it go? All right. And then I'm gonna create a new file. If you don't have templates, but of course I have templates already with my design dimensions for different sizes, just to make it a little quicker for me. So I'm going to go to File, Open, and I'm going to find my 6x8 file. And I would recommend you all do this as well. This makes everything a little faster. So templates, and it was going to be the 6x8 tall, and click on Open. All right, so you see that it's already showing my Zoom features anyway. It's already showing my layers with my watermark and my logos. And I actually need to move those over because my logos are not in the canvas. As you can see, once I clicked on that layer and made it active, it's not in my design canvas. I'm gonna just link those together, use my move tool to move it in. Make sure I select the right thing though. Of course, there we go. Then I'm gonna save this so my template is correct. So apparently I haven't designed a 6x8 in a while because I would have caught that a long time ago. But anyway, now that we have that saved, I'm going to go back to what this is. That was Ebony Spell. So I'm going to go ahead and name this file. So I'm going to go to File, Save As, so that I don't override my template. And I'm going to name this Ebony Spell. This is just a design by 8 archetype. And then I have another folder for my open orders just to stay organized. I highly recommend you do that as well. And click on Save. All right, so let's get to the design part. So we have these images. I like to go ahead and remove the backgrounds first. So I'm just going to click on the image, right click, copy. And then here's where I'm going to use my Canva. I'm going to paste it into a blank document. The size of my document is, all right, hold on. I think it's 5,000 by 5,000. Yeah, 5,000 by 5,000. It doesn't have to be that big when you're just doing background removals, but it's completely up to you. This is just my default for any square backdrop, so that's what I just happened to open at the time. I'm gonna paste it in here, Control V, and then you can see it's gonna fill up, telling us when the upload is finished. And I use Canva because I have a Canva Pro account, so I can remove the backgrounds. If you do not have a Canva Pro account, you can get a free trial and upgrade to Pro and get access to all the features for 30 days the last time I checked. Or if you don't want to do a trial or sign up for Canva Pro, you can use remove.bg, so remove.bg, and you can remove the background that way. It gives you a free option and paid option, so you can do that as well. Or once you are inside of GIMP, you can remove it manually using the free select tool. But since we have Canva Pro, I'm just going to click on the image in this menu that pops up. I'm going to go to BG Remover. And then it's going to remove my background. I'm going to have to clean it up a little bit, but that's just fine. And I'm going to bring that other image in as well. Right click, paste it in, and it's going to start uploading here. Once it's done, you can click on Remove or BG Remover. And then here are both of our files with the backgrounds removed. So you can either do them separately or together. I'm gonna just do it together since we're here right now. And I just named this Canva file BG remove because this is where I remove all my backgrounds on the same file. So I'm gonna go to share in the top right corner, download, and then click on transparent background. Again, you have to have a pro account to do a transparent background, and then click on download. All right, so now you can see that the download is finished and saved to my computer. So like I said, I like to design in GIMP, but if you're a Canva girly, you'll go in and set up a canvas that's the appropriate size. It's most likely going to be what's this? 6 by 8, 3,000 by 4,000 pixels. So you are able to do that size in Canva, FYI. But over here in GIMP, I like to just multiply the dimensions by 1,000 on each side. So that's why I have, if you look across the top, this is 6,000 by 8,000 for this 6 by 8. So you can do much larger design canvas in GIMP. So let me turn off my watermarks. Click on the bottommost layer because I want everything that's a part of my design to be below all of my watermarks and my logos and stuff. So to add those images that I downloaded from Canva, we're going to go to File on our menu bar. So across the top here is our menu bar. And then we're going to go Open as Layers. And then you're going to go to your Downloads folder. And I'm going to look for that BG remove file. I might have to sort it. And there it is. And click on Open. Is it opening? What's going on? It froze on my end. Oh, there's something going on. There we go. Just a little slow. So here are my images with the background removed. I'm gonna move it down again so that it's the bottommost layer. So you can see it's all one layer. I'm actually gonna duplicate this layer. So with this layer selected, you can either right click and click on duplicate layer, or this shortcut down here, the fifth icon, where you can duplicate that way as well. And then I'm gonna separate these images so that we can move them freely because that's not the positioning that we want them to be in. So we're gonna use our crop tool. So it looks like a square made of 2 right angles. You want to make sure that current layer only is selected in your tool options that pop up. And then we're just going to click and drag outside of one of the images, hit enter. And then we're going to do layer on our menu bar. At the very bottom, go to crop content. So that saves space for the layer and for the design file itself. Let's click on the original. So as you can see, this yellow line denotes the size and the dimensions of that layer. So we're going to do the same thing, crop tool, crop outside of it, hit enter, and then layer copy content. So now if you use your move tool, you will see that we have 2 independent layers. But on this one, I know I need to do a little more removal because I said it didn't remove it all in Canva. So I'm just going to zoom in by holding down my shift key and hitting the plus key a couple times. I can see in here. As you can see, there's this I don't know what that was from the original picture, honestly. I don't remember. But zoom in so you can see. Ooh, there we go. And then you can use your free select tool. So this is also the tool that you can use if you don't want to use either Canva Pro or remove.bg to remove backgrounds or other selections. This is what I used to do way back when I first started before AI got really good at removing backgrounds. Because it used to be real sketchy back in the day. So the free select tool looks like a lasso. If you hover over it, you will see that it says free select tool. And then you're just going to click and drag, or not drag, sorry, click and move the mouse, point it to the positions around the edges of the sections that you want to remove. So click and move the mouse, click and move the mouse. The more you zoom in, the cleaner your removal will be. Always, always, always zoom in. I would say at least like 6 times, but you can do more. Do you see how it's creating a node every time I click? That's exactly what you want to happen. And you want to do it just inside of the edge of the foreground so that it doesn't give a weird glow. And once you get all the selection you need, just click on the starting point and it's going to turn on the marching ants or the dotted moving lines you see here. And then because this is actually the selection we want to remove, we just hit delete on our keyboard, or if you're on Mac, go to edit on our toolbar or menu bar, and then go to clear. And then you need to turn off the marching ants menu bar. Remember the selection needs to be turned off, so go to select, and then I can zoom out by hitting the minus key and get back to the canvas size, or you see the full canvas size. All right, so that's removing the background and adding the images. So now let's see. I'm gonna close these tabs. In memory of Duran Spell or Doran, I might be pronouncing that wrong. Sorry if you're on here, Ebony. Blue and silver. I don't know what shade of blue, but I'll play around with it and give her her design. So I'm gonna go to GIMP. Now it's time to add some text. So there's a black bolded capital A. That's your text tool. You're gonna choose the font that you want it to be in. So let's see here. What font I want to use. If you click on that square in your tool options, it'll display all of the fonts that are installed on your device. Let's see which one I want to use. I saw one earlier that I like today, working on something else, but now I don't remember what the name of it is. See if I can find it real quick. I can't think of the name of it for the life of me right now. Let's look fast. Let's just do rainy day. I think I like that. So choose a size of your font. I usually start at 500 on my backdrop designs, but it'll change. Also under here for my line spacing, I'm going to change that to 0 because I was working on something else. So I'm going to go back to the default. And then you can choose the color that you want your text to be. I'm going to just do white for now. And then you click inside of your canvas, start typing. Or since I copied that text from Shopify, I'm just going to Control V to paste. And then I'm going to capitalize this. So in memory of, I'm actually create a duplicate layer. So remember how to duplicate, turn off the visibility of one. And then I just want this layer to say in memory of. And then for the other one, this is where I'm going to select just the name. I'm going to make this a different font. So if you highlight inside of it, use with your text tool still active, you can highlight it all and you'll get this pop-up where you can change the font, the size, the format, as well as the color. So I'm going to go to my handy dandy black sword. Then I'm going to increase the size. And we can move it down using the move tool. Then turn this layer back off so we can see. So in memory, I actually want my in memory to be separate from of, so I'm gonna duplicate it again. Remove the in memory, and then for this one, make sure you're using your text tool anytime you want to edit text, and just leave that as now let's make this way bigger. I knew it was gonna skip like that. Move it over. It's a little too big because we never want to put important parts of your design right up flush to the edge because it could be cut off when it's time to print. I didn't change the full size of my text. I'm like, why is that like that? You can also change the size by typing in the number like I'm doing now, instead of just using the up and down arrows. So I like for my to be on its own line. And I think I want his name to be on two different lines as well. Yeah, I think so. So I'm gonna duplicate this layer, create one for the first name, and edit the one for the last name as well. On top of each other. So I want his first name to be this same font. We'll go back to my text tool, and it's called Rainy Day. So I'm just highlight it, change this to Rainy Day. I want to be in caps. And now let's make this bigger, real big, big as we can get it. Okay, add that in. Make the name, last name a little bigger. Stop hitting the minus key, that would be perfect. Make sure it's not at the very edge. Move these up. And I like the little overlap look. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to center everything because I want it all to be centered. Now, if you don't want it to be centered, you don't have to do this step, but I do. So I'm going to use my alignment tool, which is right next to the move tool. Click on it, and then we're going to click on the top layer. Click on the next layer. I didn't do too bad centering. And there we go. So let me save, file save, just because you want to be doing that every so often. And then said blue and silver. All right, so let's go to ChatGPT. This is one of the tools that I use to create images. So let's go to ChatGPT and let's do create an image of an otherworldly sky and the color blue and silver. Let's see what happens. I gave it a real vague prompt, but we're gonna see what happens. Looks like it might be cute. Let it load, let it load. Okay. Not shabby, but we can do better. So let's say add a stairway to heaven, heaven's gate with a set of white wings at the top. Let's see. And I do have some graphics in my folder for memorials and stuff, but I just want to create some more in ChatGPT. Okay. So I always use chat or any of the AI generators if you already have the images that you have in mind. But I just want to go full throttle today to see what we can come up with. Taking a minute. And probably because I'm on GIMP and Zoom at the same time too. So I'm using up a lot of bandwidth. But I think I like this one. Once it's done. Oh, it says, oh, there. I was say it says it's created. Okay. So all I have to do is copy the image and you can pull it right on up in GIMP. So I'm going to click on the bottommost layer because we want it to be at the bottom. And we're going to go, since we copied it, we're going to do edit, paste as new layer. And then we're going to scale it up. Thank you, Felicia. We're going to scale it up using our scale tool. Looks like a small square pointing down to the right to a larger square. Click on this layer. Make sure that our layers or our height and width are locked so that it scales proportionately. And I'm going to just scale it up to fit the canvas. Or you can also type in here the width you need it to be. Click on scale. And we need to move this layer down so that it stays at the bottom. Let's use our alignment tool to center it. Okay, so the curved steps are making it a little uneven, so I'm gonna just scale it some more. There we go. And now we can use our move tool. Oh, look at those wings, right on them perfectly. I might just leave it as it is. That was completely accidental. Because I was about to scoot this over so the wings were centered. Interesting. Okay. Beautiful mistake. Beautiful accident. That was cute. Okay. And then we can make this bigger or whatever size we want to do. I like to do different sizes, just playing around with the focal points when I design. But it just depends on the images in addition to the other elements in the design. And I don't like hard edges, so I'm moving this one. Oh, it's already behind it. So if I move this, you will see that there's a hard edge, like a cut off edge, a cropped edge. I didn't like that. So I'm moving it kind of like behind the image where his full body is. Okay, so we kind of cut off on that. So I'll leave that as is. So now let's go ahead and save again. File save or Control S if you like keyboard shortcuts like myself. And she said she wanted silver as well. So I'm actually think I want his first name to be the silver, and then I'll do silver outlines everywhere else. So I'm going to click on the first name on our layer stack, right click, and then at the very bottom, go to alpha selection. And you can see we have the marching ants around the name. And then we're going to go to, I'm going to use a silver gradient. Now, if you have a silver glitter or another silver image that you already want to use, you can do that as well. Just bring it in as an image and then do a layer mask. But I'm actually going to use, excuse me, a gradient. So if you look for the bucket fill tool, there's a tool right beside it that looks like a diamond, one side dark gray, the other side light gray. Click on it. In your tool options that pop up, you can click on that box for the presets, and there is this brushed aluminum preset. I'm gonna click on that, and then you can change the shape by clicking on this drop down menu. And you can play around with the shapes. I'm just gonna do linear because I like the way that it looks with this preset. And then I'm just gonna drag across. You can even do left to right, right to left, top to bottom, bottom to top, corner to corner, whatever your heart desires. You can also click and drag these different nodes, the endpoints, or the ones that are inside, like the interior node, until you get it how you want it to be. So let's actually change this to a bilinear. Does it have on it? Too much dark gray for me. Okay, it'll be okay how it is. Okay, that'll work. So once you're done with your placement of your gradient, Click inside of the marching ants to get rid of that box that was here. And then you're going to hit enter to get rid of the lines with the nodes. And then you're going to go to select on our menu bar and then none to turn off the marching ants. So now you can see how we have like a realistic brushed gradient look. And I'm going to do this same gradient around the rest of the text. And I'll show you how to do that once I'm done with this outline. So I'm gonna add an outline to this because I know I like a good 3D effect, make it look more professional. So I'm actually gonna right click on this again to turn the marching ants back on. I guess I didn't have to turn it off since I was still gonna be working on the same layer, but whatever. So then I'm gonna create an outline. I love outlines. So to do that, we need to increase our selection for our marching ants. So when we're working with selections, we have to go to select on our menu bar. And then to grow and make an outline, we're going to click on grow. And you're going to choose a number in pixels. Typically, it's going to be between 30 and 60, but it's really up to you. And it also depends on the font, the size of the font, as well as the size of the canvas. So you have to play around with this sometimes. So let's just do this 30 since it is already here. If I zoom in, you'll see how much the selection grew by. So if I undo, Control Z, and then redo, you'll see the selection grew a little bit. I actually like the 30 with this text. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new layer. So over here in our layers window, very first option, click on create new layer. We're gonna name this name. Let's do a white outline. And you want to make sure at the very bottom it says transparency. If it doesn't, click on the drop down menu and select it. Click on OK. All right, so you see that it's produced here. Now we want to move this layer down because it's going to be behind the gradient text layer. Now we're going to use our bucket fill tool. So this is going to be a solid outline. We want to change the foreground color to white. Click inside of the marching ants. Okay, I probably should have did that blue because that's like flushing it out. I'm gonna undo, Control Z, or edit. First option to undo, either way. I'm gonna change this to a blue. So I'm gonna change my active foreground color to blue. Click on that box. Click on the swatch. So grab a blue that's already in your design. In this window that pops up, you're gonna click on this eyedropper tool. So it's on the far right side of the screen, about the bottom third of the way. Click on that. It'll turn your cursor to just a cross. And then you can select the color that's anywhere on your screen. Let's say I want to use this navy. So now you can see our swatch change to that color once we clicked on OK. Now with our bucket fill tool still selected and our row selection still on, click on it again. And here is our first outline. If you know me, if you've been with me for a while, you know I love a good double outline. So now with the selection still on, I'm gonna go to select, grow again, and then I'm gonna do a white outline. I want it to be the same size or thinner or bigger. Let's do thinner. Let's do 20. Create a new outline. So this is gonna be the real white outline. Move it down. And I'm gonna rename this outline to blue. Click back on the white one. Make sure white is the active foreground color. So I'm just flipping between the foreground and background here. Back or bucket fill tool is still selected. Click on it. And there is the white outline. So let's turn off the selections. So select on the menu bar, none. Then I'm gonna go layer crop to content because this layer is the same size as our full canvas, so we don't need it to be that big just for this name layer. Same thing for the blue outline, layer crop to content. And I'm gonna zoom out by hitting the minus key so now you can see my double outline. Pretty cool, huh? And you can also add shadows to any of these layers. So that's what I'm about to do right now. So on the white one, we're going to click on the layer so we can apply the shadow to this one. So go to filters on our menu bar, light a shadow. I like a good drop shadow. Make sure your preview is on so you can see what's happening. You can increase the opacity so you can see how it gives it a little more pop off the screen. You can increase the radius. You can change the direction of the shadow. You can also change the color. I'm okay with the black, so I'm just click on OK. Let's see about adding a little shadow on the actual gradient layer. So let's go to filters again, light and shadow, drop shadow. Now, if I say, is it doing anything? Yeah, it was. Let's do that blue color. Don't necessarily need it on this layer, so I'm gonna just say cancel. I like it like this. Let's save. Make sure we're saving. Make sure we're saving. And then I'm gonna move this last name layer up above the first name, just because I like that overlap. And now let's start adding the outlines to the rest of the text. Let's go ahead and start with spell. The same thing, y'all. We're gonna right click after selection. For the outlines, remember we need to grow the selection. So because we're working with selections, we need to go to select on our menu bar and then grow. Let's do that 30. Create a new layer. And we're gonna do the gradient. No, the navy or the blue outline, transparency. Move it down. Let's flip it back to the foreground color, bucket fill tool. Take a side of it. Turn off the selection. So let's go to select none. Look how big this layer is. A layer crop content. And then we can add a filter or a shadow to this layer as well. So let's see what it looks like with the same drop shadow that we did before. Ooh. Okay, I like it. Or maybe I can bring it down. So let's edit undo. Filters, light and shadow. Let's change it to the blue. That black was a little too strong for me. There we go. Okay. And then let's do that for the in-memory layers. And I guess I actually could do gradient on those layers since it's not right on top of another gradient. So let's see. And I actually want to do both the in-memory and the of layers together. So I'm going to merge these two layers together. Now that we have the spelling correct and the sizing correct. So click on the topmost one. And then at the very bottom of your layer stack, this option with the down arrow is going to merge the next visible layer. So it should be the one that's there. So we can just rename this to in memory of. And now let's do our selection on this layer. So select, right click, after the selection, and then select grow. Let's do 20 since this text is a little smaller. Create a new layer. And I'm gonna name this the in memory of blue outline transparency. Move it down, blue, click the fill tool, take us out of there. And then I actually want to do a double layer on this one. So I'm gonna go select grow again, change this to 35, create a new layer. And this is gonna be our gradient outline. Move it down. And then same thing we did with the first name. We're gonna go to gradient. I like the same preset. Click and drag. So let's see if I actually like this. Click inside, hit enter, and then select none to turn off the selection. Trying to see. So do you like that with the gradient outline or no gradient? What you think, Felicia? Gradient, no gradient. There it is with. There it is without.
Let me see. I think without.
Okay, that's why I was leaning toward. I was like,
without.
this one was doing
A little bit too
a
much.
little too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Same thought process. Okay. So I'm gonna just delete this layer. And then with this, I almost said tan. Wow. Blue, we're gonna crop it to content. And then if we want, we can add like a little shadow work on this one as well and see what it does or not. But you really can't tell because of that sky. But yeah, so let's say and an hour blew by. Which I'll see if you know how to do the steps. It doesn't take long to design at all. And I would have been done with this if I hadn't been talking through the steps. I do want to add like some starburst or something back there just to add a little bling, a little blingage. So I'm going to go to my folders, go to my graphic. And I'm gonna go to, I'm just typing Starburst. I put Starburst, that's not it. Starburst. And I like this number 4 a lot. So I'm just click on it and then drag it into my canvas. And then I use my move tool and move it into place. I'm gonna duplicate it just so I can have another one. I really like the random stars, y'all. I don't know what it is. It just looks something to the design. This here, or duplicate and move. So you see how it just adds a little more pop to it? That starburst is one of my favorite elements and it's so simple. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So we are actually approaching our hour. So I'm gonna cut it short here. I'm gonna turn on my watermark. I turn on both my black and my white. And then I turn each of them down. So if you go to the very top of your layer stack, underneath the mode, it says opacity. That's how you can increase or decrease the transparency. And you don't want to make it too overpowering to where you don't see the design. But I have both my black and white on because some parts of the image are dark and need the white to show, and some of them are lighter and need the dark watermark to show. Just in case anybody was wondering. So that way your watermark is going to show throughout. All right, and that's good enough. Make sure your logo is showing. If you want to promote yourself. Let's say, and then what I do is I use my snip tool or any kind of screenshot tool that you have on your computer. Let it save. There we go. And I actually send a screenshot of the design instead of the actual full design, because the full design is going to be really, really big. And that's more for what we need for submitting the actual design for print. I'm just grab the design with my watermark, and this is what I'm going to send to the customer for approval. So I will go back to my Shopify, grab the email address or however you take your orders, whatever your process is. And Shopify is going to ask you for the email address. So you're just going to grab that, go to your email, paste this as a new email. And if they have an order number, put that as your title or your subject line, enter their email address, ask them how it is, and wait for them to respond. If they need modifications, make those modifications, send it back to them. Once you all agree on the final proof or the final design, that's what you're going to export as a JPG file, not a screenshot, and send that over to your vendor. Yes, I love the snipping tool, and it's just right there, easy to use on the screen. Instead of a screenshot that does the whole screen, with the snipping tool, you can select the part of the screen that you want. But that's it. Are there any questions before we hop off here? Because we have like seconds left before 6:30. But if you have questions, I will answer those. If not, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one. So I will announce in the groups and via email when the next one will be. I want to try to go back to every week, but sometimes there are scheduling conflicts because I am in a business program myself. So yeah, I just have to let you know what works around my schedule, but just tune into the group or make sure you keep an eye on your emails to let you know when the next one would be. All right, let's see. Felicia says this was great. Thank you, Felicia, and thanks for tuning in. Maybe we'll get you in on the next submission so we can do a design for you live. But I don't see any questions on YouTube or Facebook unless there's a delay. But if you are in the Design and Profit Academy, that's how you get into the Zoom room. So if y'all are like, who is Felicia? Who is she talking to? That's because she's in the Zoom room because she is in the academy. So you can learn more about the academy by going to my homepage, designandmadeeasy.com. If you want to join, there are different tiers that you can join. What else am I forgetting? Yeah. The replay is going to be up for a little while. Don't know how long. But if you want to learn how to set up both your GIMP screens to look like mine and your Canva, there is a free resource on that same website, designandmadeeasy.com, that will show you how to set both of those up. So that's it. I think that was all for me. And we do have a session scheduled for Wednesday Design Lab for people in the Design and Profit Academy who may have questions about designing. So you get an email about that here shortly or this evening as well. All right. So thanks for tuning in. I will see you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.